Hello, me handsomes, and we are back with another memories video. Today we are back in 2023, just before the birth of our child, and we are in Budapest, the Hungarian city of Budapest, the capital, of course. A visually stunning city in parts, and I say in parts because as you get to the outskirts, it's a bit weirder and a bit more Soviet-y, but we'll kind of get onto that in a bit later. But in the centre of the city, it has some fantastic old architecture. Highlights include the castle, which we visited, the parliament buildings we visited, and of course some of their fantastic churches, which they have as well. And a big Jewish quarter as well, which we did visit. So what can we say about it? They've got a fantastic array of food, this huge food market that we did go to as well. We had a various amounts of food. We had some fantastic locally made cakes. We had, of course, the famous goulash, schnitzels, a local soup, which I can't remember what it was called, but it basically had little bits of kind of rolled pasta into it. And as you can see on the screen there, the goulash in the bread roll. So at the point, you can just empty it. No, I didn't finish this. It was a lot. It doesn't look like a lot, but it was actually very filling with all the bread. And there's the soup in question. All really nice, tasty food, and it kind of derived from that place where it's very cold winters, very agricultural and very hard-working areas, so they involve a lot of calories. And of course, we went to the Hard Rock Cafe, which was one of my first ever videos we had doing the wings there, and I had this fantastic chicken there, which was really nice. And we had to, of course, try the local beers as well, which were also equally nice. But food-wise, it was really good. In fact, we did end up going to a McDonald's. We always go to a McDonald's when we go abroad, and we tried their food, completely different to ours and so much better and nicer. Highlight being we had a spicy pork sandwich with a little tomato chutney in it, delicious. At this point, we're kind of walking around the Parliament buildings. Parliament building, been there for a very long time, huge amount of time, and it's kind of used as an epicenter to everything they do, and that's their version of the House of Commons. Used a lot during the war as well, when it was Nazi occupied, and again we'll be getting onto some of the sadder parts to it. At this point, we're kind of just enjoying the views. We're at the top of the castle, so the castle is up the hill, so you go on this very old cable car up the hill, and you get some really nice views of Budapest. Now, of course, Budapest basically split the word in half, and that's the two sides of the river. You get Buda and you get Pest side as well. Something I didn't know until we went there. We did a really nice boat tour, and we kind of explained some of the history and so on about it, which was really good. So it was a really good place to go. It is a fairly cheap place to go as well. Not really that expensive. Eastern European, you tend not to find it that expensive, but it was still a capital city, so maybe not as expensive as you thought, but maybe not as cheap as also some other places in Eastern Europe to visit, but a nice place to visit nonetheless. Plenty of stag do's going on there while we were there, plenty of hen do's as well, lots of people doing sort of little go-karts and on electric bikes going around the city on their stag do's. But I think important now to talk about the other side of Budapest. So it has obviously a rich history, but also has a very sad history, especially in the 20th century with the occupation of the Soviet Union, and more prevalent, the occupation of Nazi Germany. Now, Nazi Germany took over Budapest, and they performed some horrendous atrocities, including the massacre on the Budapest River, where they rounded up Jewish men and women and children, and instead of putting them on trains, transporting them to labour camps, they didn't want to have to deal with the mess, so they lined them up along the shore and shot them into the river, so they would fall into the river, float away, not their problem then. And as you see, there's various amounts of metal shoes that have been placed along there, which is kind of a Holocaust version of their way to symbolise it, which is very moving, very sombre, and looking at some of the historical footage later on, quite saddening as well. And of course, most recently, inside the Parliament building, right at the end, they did have the old Soviet star that was placed on top of the building before they became an independent nation. So there is lots to do in Budapest. There's lots of sport to do if you like your sport, lots of culture if you like your culture, and lots of food if you like your food. So had kind of everything going there, and a fun little Ferris wheel, and it's got plenty of quite nice shops there as well. So quite a lot to do and a really enjoyable holiday. But ta for watching, guys. Take care. Ta for now.